Hi there, my name is Hong Hua, an F5 Solutions Architect. Today, I'm going to talk about the latest multi-cloud networking and cybersecurity solution made available by F5. It's called Volterra. Volterra is a world-class multi-cloud cybersecurity and networking platform. It aims to unite personas on top of a platform that allows collaboration. These personas are DevOps, SecOps, and NetOps. It is also capable of enterprise-grade API and bot security protection. Very importantly, when an issue occurs, it is unmatched in terms of root cause analysis, allowing telemetry feeds to be streamed into SIEM or SOAR systems for further analysis and processing. For the DevOps persona, they will be happy to know that Volterra offers an open and programmable edge network stack, which allows microservices-based application to be extended to the edge through API programming. And also, for customers with existing SD-WAN technology, they will be happy to know that the security posture of such technologies will be improved by Volterra. Volterra aims to improve the security posture of modern application projects. Now, if any of these projects involve public traffic access, public cloud access, you'll be happy to know that Volterra manages integration points to these public cloud platforms together with private cloud platforms as well, thus forming what we call a multi-cloud networking management platform. So when we talk about public cloud services, we refer to the likes of Microsoft Azure, Amazon, AWS, Microsoft Office 365, Google Compute Platform, and the rest of the popular SaaS services that are currently used by enterprise customers, including Dropbox, ServiceNow, and Salesforce. The importance of a multi-cloud networking solution cannot be more emphasized in the light of security breaches, and Volterra, with their app-to-app security and API security, is able to mitigate cybersecurity attacks on both the public cloud and private cloud fronts. Now, these trends are not new to us. In fact, a third-party analyst, Futurium, have wrote a report titled "The Future of Multi-Cloud Networking." And this report is republished on the Volterra website, volterra.io, and it ranks within this report some of the top use cases that IT project owners put as top of the priority list. And such use cases involve streamlining of operations for cloud-based firewalls, integration between on-premise data centers, office locations with public cloud-based apps. Very importantly, having visibility and the ability to govern the traffic flows, the policies that allow traffic flows into these public cloud apps, among many other priorities. These use cases are supported by F5 Volterra. And when we look at a cybersecurity strategy that has to be implemented for enterprises, we ask ourselves, based on the 4 aspects of knowing where the possible cyber threat is coming from: discover, analyze, secure, and anywhere. Exactly what kind of threat are we expecting? What kind of traffic that is considered legitimate are we also expecting as an enterprise project owner? How do we secure access to the backend assets And very importantly, what kind of policies do we use in order to secure such access? You'll be happy to know, again, Volterra adopts the concepts that we cover on this slide in order to secure traffic, business traffic access to all various aspects of your enterprise, be they on the public cloud or on the private cloud or on-premise. So Volterra addresses key requirements in a modern application project, including connectivity from site to site, various microservice-based applications to perhaps traditional applications, people to these applications and resources, and very importantly, moving the resources closer now through a global layer 7 VPN to all the users that are located within a physical site. A customer that has successfully used Volterra and addressed all their key requirements would be SoftBank. And SoftBank has a comment to make regarding Volterra, that it has solved critical operational challenges within existing telco cloud service offerings which SoftBank provides. We'll cover key points in the next few slides to drive home really the value proposition of why Volterra is needed for modern application projects. And top of the list involves the need to allow the various important personas in an enterprise organization, which are DevOps, SecOps, and NetOps, to collaborate on top of the multi-cloud platform that is Volterra. Being able to use Volterra effectively as an observability tool to analyze all business traffic and possibly traffic that contains cyber threat in order to analyze the next steps and also to affect effective security policies to mitigate those threats. So the approach to threat prevention in the cyberspace really involves a single pane of glass, a collaborative platform that is Volterra, allowing DevOps, NetOps, and SecOps folks to all see the same data. For instance, data going to the same set of modern applications built on top of microservice, on the microservice architecture. Thus, Volterra with a console, a single pane of glass called Volt Console, allows such collaboration to take place. Now, having a common pane of glass allows information to be shared between these personas whenever they meet and plan for the next incremental set of changes for security policies and network policies. It will be very efficient and smooth, simply put, because of a common collaboration platform. So if there are tooling that are near and dear to the work that DevOps, NetOps, and SecOps folks use, those tooling could be reused with Volterra. These tool sets are listed here on this slide, including automation tooling, GitOps-based tooling, logging, alerting, SIEM applications. At the same time, also edge compute technologies, container platforms, and also service discovery and delivery capabilities. To name a few, we include here popular public cloud service providers, AWS, Google, Microsoft Azure, container platforms such as Kubernetes, Red Hat OpenShift, Tanzu Kubernetes from VMware, and of course, logging and SIEM capabilities from Datadog and Splunk, automation capabilities from Terraform and GitLab, all of which work seamlessly hand in hand together with the policies that DevOps, NetOps folks will design and deploy in the Volterra environment in order to achieve their requirements of the stakeholders, to meet the requirements of the stakeholders, which really would be securing microservice-based applications. So in the middle of this slide, you would see Vault Console, which I briefly described it as a single pane of glass. And now it aggregates data from two important components of Volterra, Vault Stack and Vault Mesh. Vault Stack serves to be the platform where services that are meant for containerized microservices are deployed. Now, these services, we call them virtual KAS, KAS short for Kubernetes, where Vault Stack provides a means of API management for multiple Kubernetes environments. So where Kubernetes ends, Volterra begins. Now, you may appreciate the fact that if you are indeed, as an enterprise customer, deploying huge amounts of microservices for sustaining large volumes of business traffic, you might be using more than one container platform cluster. And as a result, managing the infrastructure, the networking infrastructure to be specific, as well as the security infrastructure for numerous container-based clusters, it might be a difficult act to achieve, which is where Volterra comes in with a Vault Stack, Vault Mesh, and Vault Console technology to make it easier to manage, to reduce the complexity of managing container-based microservice projects. What does Vault Mesh do? Well, it is a proxy with distributed network and security services at your disposal. So if you need to integrate multiple sites, look no further. Vault Mesh, which runs on top of hypervisor technology such as KVM or VMware, allows you to connect up these sites through virtualized distributed network and security services. Now, in short, when you connect up multiple sites and container platforms, that traffic will ride across a reliable, globally scalable, and deployed backend network, which we call the Volterra Global Network, otherwise known as Volterra ADN. ADN is short for Application Delivery Network. Now, through this network, Vault Console, the single pane of glass, is able to examine and identify good traffic and attack traffic. Attack traffic could come in the form of DDoS payloads, API attack payloads, and being able to identify such payloads in real time, security policies kick in to prevent these attacks from taking place. And from these snapshots of the Vault Console, as you can see, there are site maps that show the various sites that have been deployed in the Volterra environment in order to support traffic management for a particular modern application project. At the same time, metrics, collection of statistics of traffic flows riding across the Volterra ADN. You would have a common platform that allows collaboration for important personas within the enterprise: DevOps, NetOps, and SecOps. Very importantly, when we refer to Volterra's global layer 7 VPN, we're talking about the integration of multiple sites that are dear and important to the success of the enterprise project at hand, and being able to utilize these sites. It will be easy for NetOps and also SecOps teams to monitor traffic flows, looking at the availability of these sites, availability of the applications that exist on these sites. So here again, Vault Mesh plays a huge role because it integrates all the multiple sites within the enterprise, and also very importantly within the modern application project. So in order to connect, say, employees and customers that require the use of public cloud services, the likes of AWS, Microsoft, Azure, Google, at the same time, even additional cloud-based security services hosted on Prisma Cloud, Zscaler and Cloudflare and Akamai, you'll be happy to know additional enhancements to the security posture through Volterra's global layer 7 VPN technology, powered by, of course, VoltMesh, would improve the reliability and the security posture of the modern application. Very importantly, if the customer that we are discussing about requires edge compute for some of their IoT solutions, the use of Vault Stack helps, because simply put, having APIs at your disposal, being able to make those API calls in order to telemetry stream data from IoT sensors to some of the various backends hosted on, say, the public cloud, are facilitated through the VoltStack technology. So VoltStack and VoltMesh comes together to serve as the building blocks of a global layer 7 VPN solution. Now, the next facet of the value proposition of Volterra involves the use of AI/ML. AI/ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning, in order to whitelist the use of APIs. Very importantly also, to deny list any malicious API clients or endpoints attempting to access the microservices applications at the back. And this is done through, again, the control plane that is Vault Console. So on Vault Console, various graphs are available to administrators. And here you can see two of them. App-to-app communication graph, API-to-API communication graph, which allows API project owners to, and also their various colleagues in the DevOps and also the SecOps teams, in real time to analyze and understand the API traffic flowing from clients to the API endpoints themselves. At the same time, for traditional applications or even microservice-based applications, when they communicate, traffic flows between these different applications, thus forming what we call an app-to-app communication. An app-to-app communication graph is available to visualize, to help personas visualize the traffic flows in order to determine if there is any breakage, any significant amount of latency between perhaps app A and app B, and therefore being able to make a quick decision on issue resolution. How about the AI/ML rules-based approach that I talked about? Well, Volterra has that built into a flexible rules engine. And what this does is that based on the AI/ML capabilities in Volterra, personas are able to monitor app-to-app as well as API-to-API communication patterns. And at the same time, because of the AI/ML rules engine, policies with regards to securing such communication routes are implemented in real time. So using time series analysis, graph analysis, and pattern recognition for PII data, personal data, Volterra is able to decide whether certain traffic should be allowed or denied, and whether additional protection and validation should be implemented for such traffic. So when we talk about an anomaly detection, you'll be happy to know that through AI/ML rules-based engine, Volterra can prevent an API attack that is constantly changing or morphing, even DDoS attacks that could attempt to slip into the mix when it is pretty much peak period for some of these modern applications, disguising itself as legitimate traffic. So Volterra is able, specifically thanks to its rules engine, identify the different sorts of traffic and determine that yes, an attack is occurring, or no, an attack is not occurring. Now, regarding this control plane, it's actually globally distributed and deployed, which means wherever your administrators, the admin personas are located in the world, they'll be happy to know they can access Vault Console from the comfort of their data center or SOC environment or from their workstations. So this is a unified user experience, simplified for day two operations, and very importantly, facilitating DevOps personas to utilize Kubernetes-based APIs as part of their tooling. And very importantly, when globally distributed applications are deployed on public cloud or on even the private cloud, but across multiple sites across the world, it is easy to do so using Vault Console. And here an example would be an application which we will just codename S2, found in both the public cloud and private cloud. Traffic is able to flow from users located all around the world through Volterra's ADN, the global layer 7 VPN, to multiple sites within the enterprise, where S2 instances are located, both in public cloud and private cloud, and having the same console, personas use the same console, that is Volterra console or Vault console, to monitor the traffic flows. Now, how about if a customer has a need to, standardize processes with regards to responding to issues? So they might be using ITIL, very likely using a SOAR, and they use SIEM as a capability of aggregating all sorts of application data, which involves traffic and business traffic and latency, application availability, all into a common SIEM platform. Can Volterra help in this? You'll be happy to know it is possible. And not only is it possible, compared to other forms of multi-cloud networking technologies out there in the market, Volterra achieves one of the lowest cost of ownership for IT projects. So we have a blog on medium.com which explains how Volterra achieves this lowest cost of ownership across the spectrum of multi-cloud networking providers. And one of the key things to note is that there might be many change requests involving policies on the firewall, on routers, at the same time, across a whole year. At the same time, large operational cost outlay. Now, when compared to traditional way of operating firewalls and managing firewalls and routers, Volterra achieves this with the lowest cost. Now, we are not advocating, I personally am not advocating consolidation of all existing firewall, router, and proxy assets into one single platform, that is Volterra. However, it is worth considering to use Volterra alongside existing infrastructure investments. And you could see from some of these slides, which are again available on medium.com, the Volterra blog on medium.com, that significant savings can be achieved when making an investment decision with regards to multi-cloud networking and cybersecurity. So not to consolidate existing firewalls, load balancer, and proxies that enterprise owners have already invested in, but to introduce Volterra together with these firewalls and load balancers, proxies, which are already in use in production, in order to add an additional layer of security and governance and observability to improve the security posture overall within the enterprise. So here we talk about improved operational excellence and also operational delight. So you can see that Volterra is actually really a time saver and at the same time a cost saver. So when day two operations are involved, you'll be happy to know personas involved in this exercise always look to the fastest time of issue resolution. And Volterra, with common tooling and a common pane of glass, is able to do so for these personas. Now, the rapid resolution is thanks to the capability of within Volterra of automatically mitigating attacks, alerting the SOC analysts in terms of the attacks that are taking place, if there are any, and very importantly, being able to look at all those policies on a single pane of glass. At the same time, all the various traffic reports on a single pane of glass. And here we can see more of the Volterra reporting. Here you can see a connectivity graph, which at the bottom of this slide, which shows how multiple sites are connected and the latency of these of the connection points, latency of the traffic between these connection points, to be specific. The slides above, you can see the counts of source IPs per devices and the traffic volume between sites. The second last point to make with regards to Volterra's value proposition include the programmability of Volterra, the ability for you to extend through Kubernetes-based APIs into your edge compute stack. So, introducing VoltStack, which we briefly described, for your modern application projects. Now, when you have multiple Kubernetes environments that require integration, you'll be happy to know VoltStack allows you to manage connectivity, networking, and security of your underlying Kubernetes clusters. Again, earlier point that I mentioned will be iterated again. Where Kubernetes ends, Volterra begins. So Volterra manages the outside of the Kubernetes cluster where you need to integrate to another adjacent Kubernetes clusters, which could be located in a totally different environment, totally different sites. As you know, Kubernetes comes in through various forms nowadays. To be very specific, provided by various providers. It could be provided by AWS or Azure or VMware or Red Hat. Or it could be just plain old Kubernetes that is open source and downloaded by administrators and installed and managed by administrators. Whatever flavor you choose, it could be multiple flavors. You'll be happy to know VoltStack works with all these flavors. Then VoltMesh will help with the underlying site-to-site integration, thus forming what we call an edge-to-cloud secure connectivity via the Volterra backbone. Now, this is what the API looks like. And on the right and on the left, you would see various means of attacks. Yes, various means of attacks targeting modern applications. You'll be happy to know the APIs addresses all these various attacks. So in order to mitigate them, when we talk about VoltMesh, VoltStack, and VoltConsole, the various components of Volterra come together to make this a highly reliable, at the same time globally available and scalable platform that will ensure that traffic between multiple sites and multiple forms of clouds as part of a hybrid cloud project are made accessible to the administrators. So when we talk about globally available and deployed, we're talking about countries across the world where very likely your users will be located, your assets will be deployed, and you'll be happy to know there will be, in time to come, increasing number of points of presences. Currently, we have 21, and with time to come, it will be very likely that there will be a pod very close to your office environment or your data center or the public cloud instance of your choice. And right now, we are already servicing globally quite a few customers with such globally deployed requirements. Now, with regards to SD-WAN, you must appreciate that customers might be looking at a even more stringent security architecture that goes with the SD-WAN technology. And that's where Volterra comes in to complement existing SD-WAN technology that facilitates the implementation of a ZTA, a zero trust architecture. So we'll get there, talking about zero trust architecture in another slide coming soon. But first, let's appreciate the importance of a multi-tenant architecture. Importance of having multi-tenancy in a hybrid cloud deployment. In multi-tenancy, we talk about per user for each tenant in order for that particular user to utilize assets within that tenant. So Volterra allows multiple tenants to be set up in order for those users who are focusing on a particular app instance to just use the app instance within the tenant. Now, multi-tenancy obviously is able to ensure the separation of concerns and the separation of responsibilities and roles. If you are only looking at an aspect of a modern application and not the other aspect, shouldn't be accessing the tenant that is not available to you. So multi-tenancy, a key highlight of Volterra. That also brings to mind an important aspect of what we call user access to cloud applications. So if there are cloud applications in the project itself, you'll be happy to know that traffic, egress traffic, directed to these cloud applications can be analyzed and secured with the help of Volterra. Say the traffic comes from a private local network address. It goes to the public cloud services. And then the user roles are found in Azure AD, Microsoft Azure AD. And you could integrate that Microsoft Azure AD directory with Volterra. And also the Azure AD's policy and risk engine could be working hand in hand with Volterra to ensure that policies are in place to secure business user access. So all in all, we are able to provide a zero trust environment for business users seeking to have a seamless interaction with office productivity applications like Salesforce and Microsoft Office 365 and ServiceNow from the comfort of their work from home environment without having to use additional VPN technology from another third-party vendor in order to log in. Simply put, because of the layer 7 VPN technology that already comes with Volterra that allows them to have such seamless access. And also, from a multi-site perspective, you could also implement zero trust architecture. So in this particular example, let's say you have on-premise environments, you have applications hosted on various public cloud providers, and you also have SaaS-based applications. Now, typically, we will be happy with just direct connect into, say, AWS, and also private links into, say, a cloud-based environment, a SaaS environment, allowing, say, the users in your offices or in their work-from-home environments, in their own homes, to access easily these SaaS applications and public cloud environments. Now, Volterra takes it another step by making it a whole lot easier for you to connect, and at the same time also secures local private network access without revealing where the users are. It does not have any public internet exposure whatsoever, and does so by also applying sought after security and networking capabilities in terms of a load balancer, web application firewalls, API gateways, traditional firewall technologies on top of that private front door. We call this a Volterra private front door, allowing work from home users in the office, at different sites around the world, to be accessing applications all around the world. Now, there is no need, again, like I mentioned, for a separate VPN technology for this, because Volterra is totally capable of implementing this layer 7 VPN experience. And this layer 7 VPN experience is a technology that improves application performance. So when you need, say, access to, say, Microsoft Office 365, Microsoft-based applications, you'll be happy to know, again, that this Volterra ADN, the dedicated private backbone, serves to be the means of mitigating against attacks that are aimed to compromise users' access and user experience of these cloud-based applications. So in this particular architecture diagram, you can see threats potentially coming from all angles, attacking user assets in the customer, say a customer branch office, a data center, the headquarters, even directly at the cloud. And if you have the Vault Mesh in place, the capabilities that are found in Volterra, the web application firewall, the anti-bot protection, the anti-DDoS attack protection, are all at your disposal because of connectivity to the Volterra private backbone. So the value proposition can be summed up on this slide. Quite a busy slide, but what it says is that if multi-cloud networking and security is key sets of objectives for an enterprise, you'd be happy to know that Volterra does this quite well compared to other multi-cloud solutions and traditional gateways and traditional edge infrastructure, which customers had to rely on before Volterra was available in the market. Compared to them, Volterra has a whole wider range of services and features, including the ability to support global layer 7 VPN management, automated web and API discovery that is globally available, and very importantly also the means of securing all these multiple sites quite easily on a common pane of glass. So the summary again, Volterra is the go-to choice, I believe, for customers of assets that require multiple clouds for provisioning and for service delivery, and very importantly, customers that are looking to invest in modern application technologies, because the modern application is a multi-cloud application. It is certified to run on multiple clouds across multiple sites. Very importantly, also globally available. And a platform that is both globally available and able to support a multi-cloud project has to go with it in order to enhance its security posture, in order to provide seamless telemetry streaming-based integration into all these various endpoints, and very importantly, to provide multi-cloud capabilities around the security space. API protection, DDoS protection, anti-bot mitigation, that is what Volterra brings. And I conclude my presentation, and I thank you.